Hello everyone, what is up? It is me, AlbyMTG. Again, for today's video, my voice is still a little bit off. Hopefully it should be back to normal by next week, is really what I'm hoping for. That way when I make some, more videos about what the Ravnica standard is going to look like and all this other kind of stuff, that I can, have a reasonable voice for it. But in the meantime, I just want to take the time to make this video. I don't really have a structure for how I wanted this video to go, so it might sound like more of just like me rambling for a little bit, but I am so excited for Guilds of Ravnica. Like, I have not been this excited for something magic related in quite a long time. If we go back here to my channel, you can see I've been on YouTube for a while. Haven't really, like, I started taking it seriously about 5 months ago, right? Around this point is where I started taking YouTube seriously. But before that, I did have my channel going, and I was, just uploading random occasional stuff that I thought was interesting, thought was cool, that kind of stuff. And you can see here that there was this little break. 8 months ago here is where I uploaded an I'm back kind of video, and then a year ago, I uploaded, just like a regular video. So there was like this 4 month break in between here where I wasn't really feeling magic. It was during Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan, and I just didn't really enjoy those two sets. I thought that they tried to put so many things into one set that just didn't feel like magic. The whole dinosaurs aspect just didn't really feel like magic. Like, sure, it was kind of neat, but it wasn't the magic that I was used to. Of course, I love it when magic tries new things, but I I just did not like what they tried with Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan block, and like Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation for me were like, they were fine, but they weren't great for me. I enjoyed playing those sets a little bit, but they weren't anything, like my top 10 favorite sets of all time or anything like that. So they were just kind of like reasonable sets. And then Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan came out, and it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth for Magic. It kind of made me, question whether I was still supposed to be playing this game. Maybe, like, because Magic at this time had basically just been everything to me. Even though I hadn't been playing for that long or making YouTube videos for that long, just most of my life at this point had already been consumed by this stupid card game. And it just kind of felt weird for me to not feel excited for once about new sets coming out during the Ixalan block. And then after Ixalan block came out, we got the news of Dominaria coming back, and I kind of felt like, okay, they can't mess up Dominaria. Dominaria is going to be a good one. So when Dominaria came out, that was basically around the time I started getting back into making YouTube videos. Originally when Dominaria came out, it was, around this time where I started making the kind of return was during Dominaria spoiler season, and it was by far the best move I've ever made, in terms of both my life and my career here on Magic, or my career here as a content creator. You can see I uploaded videos like the Teferi one that got like 32,000 views. This one has over 50,000 views. It was kind of crazy what ended up happening after these two sets had basically made me question whether I was still supposed to be playing this game. And then after seeing Dominaria, I became excited again for Magic. I wanted to, go more in depth into Magic, and it led me back to YouTube, making, more videos and things like that. And again, like I said, it's the best thing that's basically ever happened to me was coming back during that time period of Dominaria spoiler season. And I have basically the same feeling now that I did about Dominaria. It's kind of like right now it's not necessarily revitalizing me because I'm already excited after, Dominaria being great and the core set being great. I'm just like already excited, but Guilds of Ravnica is still managing to blow me away. I'm like it's just blowing my mind how great these two sets are after these sets of like Dominaria, core set 2019, and now this a fantastic Guilds of Ravnica set. How they went from two sets that had me questioning whether I was still supposed to be playing Magic, all the way to something that makes me just like question why I even thought about not playing Magic. This is just it's an incredible set. If we come down here and we look at things like what was revealed before Guilds of Ravnica, we come here to the Game Night gift pack. This was something that like it's an awful product. It's not a good product. I know that's not what WotC wants to hear. I know it's pessimistic, and so it's probably not what you guys want to hear. But this product is just not good. The cards that they're including with it are not good, and it's not a good product. I don't know why people would want to purchase it. I didn't really talk about it here on the channel because I didn't want to make like a video solely focused on negativity towards a product. But this product is just bad. And so then after that, we saw, some Guilds of Ravnica stuff starting to come out, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of sold on this. Like, it seems like it'll be a fun set. They showed these masterpieces, and I was like, yeah, the masterpieces really aren't for me. I like the idea of altered cards, but I also like how if you were to get an altered card, it's very individual. You are the only one with that specific alter. There's other people in the world that maybe had the same idea, but for the most part, no one else can, have that same alter that you have. It's very individualized and very personal to, yourself playing with that alter. These are just, I don't know. They're much worse than alters in my opinion, just because everyone else can get their hands on them. If you just spend $250 or whatever it is, they're slightly less individualized, and I think they still look cool. They definitely still look cool, but they're just not as cool as just like a regular alter in my opinion. So again, that was kind of like meh, okay, whatever. And then spoiler season hit, and I'm so excited for this set. There are so many fantastic cards in this set for Eternal playability, Modern, Legacy, those kind of things. You Commander players have so many new things to work with. Standard players, this makes me want to like start grinding Standard events a little bit more. Like in the past, I haven't really played a ton of Standard. I basically just played in competitive Standard events whenever there was a local PPTQ, and that was about it. Outside of just like random, jank decks on Magic the Gathering Online. But seeing these new cards has me wanting to just grind Standard, maybe go to additional PPTQs, these kind of things, because I'm really enjoying the cards that are being spoiled from this Ravnica set. And so it all started with the first day of spoiler season. Again, Thought Eraser is a card that I'm probably going to be casting a million times throughout the course of the standard season. I absolutely love it. Thought Seize is one of my favorite cards. It's probably my most played card in Modern. If I had to pick one card that I just like slam into every deck, it's either that or Inquisition of Kozilek. So being able to do some Thought Seizing in Standard is going to be quite fun for me. I love what they did with the Convoke enchantment. Sinister Sabotage is going to be kind of just a reasonable counterspell. It's a good little replacement for not Dispel, Disallow. Necrotic Wound is an interesting card. Even if it doesn't turn out to be good, it's still interesting. They're pushing the boundaries of something that they can do with some of these mechanics. Boros Challenger really doesn't do anything for me, but it's a Signpost uncommon and limited. Firemind's Research is cool. Quasi-Duplicate's cool. Amara was a card I was originally down on, but now after seeing all of the Convoke payoffs, I'm much more higher on Amara now as well. Ral, again, I'm not super high on Ral still, but he's still a cool Planeswalker. I like Ral in the story. Narcomoeba, a Modern, Legacy, and even Vintage reprint here, showing up in Guilds of Ravnica. Underrealm Lich is going to be a great card for you Commander players in the Golgari colors. Legion Warboss is super cool as well. I originally was down on this card because it was worse than Goblin Rabblemaster, but again, looking at it in just the frame of Standard, it's going to be a fantastic card in Standard. Does compete in the same spot as Goblin Chainwhirler because it's 3 mana, but still it's going to be a fantastic card as well. Again, the Shocklands are so it's so good that these things are being reprinted. Originally, when we first got the announcement that these were coming back, it was like, yeah, okay, we got that one cool thing that we all wanted. We got these Shocklands. The rest of the set's going to be a disappointment. And instead, they started us off with one of the least exciting things in this new set being the fact that Shocklands are reprinted, which is just insane. I thought that the best thing about this set was going to be Shocklands being reprinted. I could finally get my hands on the playsets. Even though I play a ton of Modern, I don't have all of my playsets of Shocklands yet because I didn't play during original Ravnica or even Return to Ravnica, so I'm finally going to be able to get my playset of each of these Shocklands. And again, I thought that this would just be the coolest part about the set. I'd be able to get my Shocklands for Modern, but instead they're blowing me out of the water and including so many fantastic cards in this set. It's crazy. We come up here the next day worth of spoilers. Murmuring Mystic isn't like a fantastic card, but it's a cool card. I like what they did there. Healer's Hawk is kind of interesting too, even though it's just a 1-mana 1/1. They're giving it 2 keywords, kind of pushing the boundaries on how far they can do, or what they can do for just 1 mana, especially on a 1-mana 1/1. Arboreal Atom Elemental, yeah, sure, whatever this thing is called, I'm gonna lose a million games to this in limited, but it seems like a reasonable amount of power level. You can tell that they definitely worked on this card a while, even though it has Convoke, having 9 CMC. Seems right about where it should be. Radical idea for a jumpstart card is kind of neat. This card here for limited is going to be great. Even like they revealed originally when Hammer Dropper came out, I was like, this card isn't even playable in limited. But then they showed us a new card that came out today where it suddenly makes Hammer Dropper seem reasonable in limited now. It's crazy. Barging Sergeant, 5 mana for a 4/2 with haste and mentor. It's essentially, if you're attacking with something else, 5 power with a haste for 5 mana. Rosemane Centaur, even like doesn't seem like it's going to be a big thing, but a 4/4 body is pretty reasonable in draft, especially something that you can get out as early as turn 3. If you go turn 1 1 drop, turn 2 2 drop, then you can go ahead and play, sorry about that, you can play a Rosemane Centaur as early as turn 2, which is like, or as early as turn 3, my apologies. So that's just like super good and limited too. Deadly Visit is probably one of the best stereotypical 5 mana sorcery speed removal spells that we've had in a long time in a draft set. Unexplained Disappearance again is a reasonable one here too. The Planeswalker deck stuff really don't interest me too much outside of the fact that Rao looks like a Disney villain, but even like for you players who do purchase the Planeswalker decks, even some of those people are saying that they're kind of excited for these as well. So I mean, this set is so good. We got no copy, which if you guys didn't see my video yesterday, at the end of it, I showed you guys what no copy looks like in real life, and they look so cool. I'm upset that they gave it creature type Antelope, but again, they gave us no copy, so I'll forgive them. I love this cycle of cards here at rare, where it's 2 hybrid mana and then a gold card here on the other side. Niv Mizzet is extremely flavorful. Dream Eater is going to be a cool card. Even if it's not a fantastic card in standard, it's going to be just still a cool card. Assassin's Trophy is exactly everything that I needed in my life that I didn't know I needed until Wizards gave it to me. As a green-black rock player in Modern, this card is going to be a lifesaver for me. Goblin Electromancer, a reasonable reprint here, even though it's not the most expensive reprint in the world. It's still just a really cool one, and if we want to talk about expensive reprints, Chromatic Lantern was $15 before this, and now Chromatic Lantern's seeing a reprint. We've got these good commons and uncommons here for drafts, Sunhome Stalwart, even Fresh Face Recruit, Hypothesis, all those kind of cards. Izoni is going to be a cool one for you Commander players again in the Golgari colors. Bounty Agent might even see a little bit of play in Death and Taxes in Eternal formats as well. March of the Multitudes is a fantastic card as well. Sorry, my excitement seems to have caught up to how much my throat can handle right now. But March of the Multitudes has Fibblethip in the background. Everyone loves Fibblethip. March of the Multitudes is going to be quite the fun card in Standard as well. The Guild Gates don't really do anything for me, but they're going to be good mana fixing in Limited. Blade Instructor, again, just a reasonable draft card. Runaway Steamkin, someone's already done the brewing to figure out how you can get a turn 1 kill with this in Modern. If you play Runaway, if your opening hand is Runaway Steamkin, Simian Spirit Guide, Mountain, let me make sure I get this right. Runaway Steamkin, Mountain, Sibian Spirit Guide, 3 Pact of the Titans, and Goblin Bushwhacker, I believe. That's a turn 1 kill as early as turn 1, which is just insane. So I'm sure there will be some jank decks that you guys will see people streaming with on Twitch to play around with this one. It's going to be a fun one. I is a good little one for Counterburn and Standard. Goblin Crater Maker is going to be a card that'll show up in Modern and even Legacy as well, because it just does a little bit of everything that's needed. I also love that they gave, like here I'm seeing Pleasant Kenobi's name, I love that they gave so many new content creators their first preview cards this time around. It's so cool seeing all of my friends getting these cool preview cards. Of course I want one myself, but like I said, I've only really been taking YouTube seriously for about 5 months now, so I know my time will come in the future if I just stick to it and continue doing what I'm doing. But I love that they're giving the chance to other content creators, giving them the opportunity to preview these cards. Guild Summit, I love the idea of playing a limited deck focusing around Guild Gates as like your main thing. This card is just unique. There's nothing that we've ever really seen like this card, which makes it really cool. This card is just like reasonable. I love all of these cards with Surveil. Surveil is a fantastic mechanic. Disdainful Stroke's a good little reprint. See sideboard playing Modern sometimes against the Control Mirrors Creatures and against Tron, which is just a decent little reprint, even though it's not worth a lot. Should certainly see some standard play. It did in the past when it was legal in Cons of Tarkir. And then if we come to today's spoilers, we got the new Locket Cycle, which is reasonable. Goblin Banneret, Young Mage's preview card. This is going to be a reasonable card here too. It's nothing too crazy, but could end up being just like for your budget Goblin players or your budget Boros aggro players. This could be a nice little inclusion for you guys at the 1-drop slot. All sorts of just random, good stuff up in here as well. This is a good little removal spell as well in Limited, can even hit your opponent's face, which is kind of cool. The Phoenix, I think, is kind of bad, but again, I'm not going to let one bad card ruin how fantastic this set is. We come up here to Vraska again. Vraska's fantastic. I love the Guild Mages coming back. I wish they didn't have to tap for their abilities, but that's like my only nitpick about the Guild Mages. They're absolutely fantastic otherwise. I like this cycle of cards as well. They're very restrictive in terms of the mana colors. They're not really like splashable, but they are a good reward if you end up being in that specific color pairing. Invert is something that I've been, invert to invent, or invert or invent, however we're supposed to be saying these split cards. Invert's kind of a cool one that people have been brewing around with, myself included, because of cards like the new 08 that's being printed, which I think is actually right up here. Yeah, there's an 08 being printed. If you use invert on this thing, then you're attacking with a 1-9, with a 1-8, I believe, which is quite the good attacker. I've also been brewing around a little bit with Aegis of the Heavens, which is an instant speed card from M19, which is 2 mana to give +1/+7. That works really well with invert as well. Another Guild Mage over here. This card just has a million keywords on it. A lot of people are comparing it to like Gifted Aetherborn and Vampire Nighthawk as well. Lava Coil is going to be a good removal spell here. It's like a double magma spray, 2 mana for 4 damage, and exiles the creature. So that's pretty cool as well. And then there's the Vraska Masterpiece Art. Again, the Masterpiece Arts don't really do much for me. But then we come up here to even more stuff. Price of Fame, I think, is interesting, even if it's not going to be like good. It's going to be good and limited for sure, but even if it's not like standard playable, I think I still love the fact that it's like flavorful in terms of the legendary creatures. Mission Briefing is a card that I've had a lot of conversations about today with my friends, a lot of the modern players that we play with, comparing this to Snapcaster Mage, where instead of getting a 2/1 body, you're paying an additional blue mana for it. So instead of 1 in a blue, it's blue, but then instead of a 2/1 body, you get to Surveil 2. So maybe people will end up playing this as like Snapcasters 5 through 6, or maybe just Snapcaster number 5. Definitely going to be standard playable for sure, but in terms of modern playability, I love the cards that are like right on that line where they might just be good enough for modern, but they might not just be good enough for modern. And I love being able to playtest with those cards, trying to figure out if they're good enough for this powerful format that is modern. Another Guild Mage there is fantastic. This card seems like it's going to be bonkers in Limited. The Dimir deck seems just like super strong in Limited. That's probably the deck I'm most excited about in terms of Limited potential. Again, Thoughtbound Phantasm, a very cool, unique card that's going to be very playable in the Dimir deck. Doom Whisperer, again, one of those cards that just makes me want to play Standard. A 5 mana 6/6 flying trampler that lets me Surveil 2, and all I have to do is pay 2 life. This is the kind of card that really makes me just want to throw together like something probably like Grixis in Standard, where you can go like turn 2 Thought Erasure, turn 3 do something, maybe the new Read the Bones, whatever it's called, the Reign of something. It's down farther, but you can play that card as well, and then turn 3 you play, turn 3 you do whatever you want. Turn 4 you play Nicol Bolas. Turn 5 you play Doom Whisperer. They probably already used a removal spell on Nicol Bolas, or you've already taken their removal spell away from the Thought Erasure, and then you just get to slam this giant creature here, which is just fantastic. Again, makes me very excited to play some Standard. Lazav's a very cool card. This is the card that I was talking about earlier that made the 5/2 with Mentor seem much more playable, because this thing can get double strike, and so it's able to put the counter on this one, turning it into a 5 mana 4/4 double strike as long as you control a gate, which is super good, especially in Limited. We saw how strong something like Scrapper Champion was during Aether Revolt Limited. Very excited to be playing with this card in Boros as well. Legion Guild Mage, again, another friend of the channel, getting a preview card. Magic with Zuby, congrats on a preview card yet again. And then we come up here, and there's just additional multicolored cards that are pretty sweet. Glowspore Shaman's a sweet one. Sky Knight Legionnaire is a card that I love playing with in Pauper Cube. Ocarina Assassin is a card that I really like the design of. All creatures able to block it do so. So you can get in with additional power. You can get in for additional damage with some of your creatures because they can't block for this turn, they have to block the assassin, and then maybe if you pump the assassin, you can like giant growth this thing, for example, and then you can trade off your giant growth and your Ocarina Assassin for 4 of their creatures, which is super sweet. Here we have the new Irelia, which is just fantastic as well. It's the kind of card that really makes being in the Boros colors worth it. It's such a good aggressive card. It's exactly what Boros wants, and it's going to be quite the fun card to play with, quite the fun card to lose to in Limited as well, because I'm sure I will certainly be losing some games to Irelia. We come up here and there's even more modern playables. Knight of Autumn is just incredible. 3 mana 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, you choose one. You either put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, so then it's a 3 mana 4/3. Puts it on par with something like Prowling Serpapard, which Prowling Serpapard and Knight of Autumn would then be the only 3 mana 4/3s in Magic that don't have a downside attributed with them as well. And then it has the ability to destroy target artifact or enchantment, so it can replace Reclamation Sage, which was reprinted again in Core Set 2019, then has the ability to just gain you 4 life, which can be great against burn and other aggressive strategies as well. This Loxodon card is kind of like a build your own Verdurous Gearhulk, which is super cool because if you pay, or actually you can make this even more +1/+1 counters than a Verdurous Gearhulk would give you. You can potentially be putting 9 power on the board based off of this Venerated Loxodon if you tap 4 creatures, or you tap 5 creatures, and then it's adding 4 power itself, so that's 9 power over the creatures. It's definitely a good Convoke reward for being in these colors. I think that's what Convoke was really missing before in the early spoiler season when I was really down on it, was the Convoke deck just didn't have the good payoffs. And then we saw the Mythic that creates the 1/1 lifelink soldiers. We saw Venerated Loxodon, and now there's actually cards that make playing the Convoke deck super good as well. So all 5 colors have distinct cards that are just extremely powerful, and there's not just one strictly best color going into it. It's not as easy to tell this time around as it normally is for regular sets. There's just so many good opportunities to be had with all these cards. We'll refresh one more time to make sure, in case they just spoiled anything else while I was making this video. Doesn't look like they did, but again, hopefully you guys can see just how excited I am for this set. I hope you guys are, feeling the same excitement I'm feeling. If you guys aren't feeling the same excitement, please be sure to let me know why. Maybe I can change your mind and get you guys a little bit more hyped up for this set. I think this set's going to be fantastic, and like I said, I'm extremely excited for it after the experience I had with Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan, where I just wasn't feeling it. The whole Pirates and Dinosaurs things just wasn't really for me. But then Dominaria brought me back to YouTube, which is again just super fantastic and fortunate that I was able to come back and do what I'm doing now because of Dominaria being such a fantastic set, and it looks like this set's going to be just as good. There's playables in all sorts of formats, and it's going to be such a good set. I'm so excited. Again, hopefully you guys are excited as well. If you guys are excited, be sure to let me know why in the comments. Maybe it's the same reason I'm excited. Maybe it's, different things that I forgot to touch on in this video. If you guys aren't feeling excited, let me know why you're not feeling excited. Maybe you think the set is like overrated or something like that. Be sure to let me know. Like I said, I'm excited for this set. I think I'm going to be doing like a million videos once Guilds of Ravnica comes out and in the days leading up to Guilds of Ravnica, because this set excites me quite a lot. And yeah, with that being said, hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know it was just me sort of rambling here for a little bit, but like I said, I didn't really have a structure for this video. I just wanted to express how excited I was for this upcoming set. So thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll see you guys here next time for another Magic the Gathering video. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, where I kind of ramble on about how excited I am for the upcoming set Guilds of Ravnica. Of course, at the end of all of my videos, I like to give a quick shout out and thank you to all of my patrons over on the Patreon page, and I'm equally as excited to do this every time as I am about Guilds of Ravnica. So, very excited to say thank you to Jayath the Sworn, Daniel, Jeremy, BadWolfMTG, and Jason for supporting me over on the Patreon page. The 5 of you are fantastic individuals, helping me do what I love doing here with this Magic YouTube channel. Again, I can't say thank you enough for everything you do for me, and thank you guys so much for watching this video.